It was a dangerous situation.
It was
the biggest meltdowns. Gastro hit.
We've had enough. It's been a very tiresome Christmas.
Bye, Santa!
Hello. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Today's video we are going to be story timing our Christmas and the Christmas that happened.
Can we ever have like a nice story of Christmas? Why is there always bad things?
By the way, Jacob's asleep back there. He's not passed out or anything, he's just asleep. Christmas is always going to be a stressful time, and I know we've already done our video on all of the tips that we had for autism parents during Christmas. We took on all of those tips and still wasn't great.
We thought that it'd be easier this year, instead of having everyone over our place, to go to everybody else. It was a good idea at the time, but then Jacob felt very out of routine.
Yeah.
And he didn't have his therapy on, he didn't have school on, he wasn't in his own home with his own bed, which everyone likes that. He just got worse and worse and worse for like being rowdy, and
he was very hyperactive. He was very frustrated. What's the word? Agitated. Like everything was like,
and
like it was just like he wasn't understanding what was going on, and it makes sense. Like he is nonverbal. He doesn't understand what's going on. We can't tell him, oh, we're going to go to this person's house now. We were just going to a whole bunch of people's houses, and he had to like just come with us and be surprised when he got there, and that didn't go down so well with him. But I wanted to do a story time of like beginning to end, because we've got some footage of Christmas but we never like spoke to the camera. So on the Sunday before Christmas, we all got together with my side of the family and celebrated Christmas, and it was a fun time. Jazz had a really good time with all her cousins, and
Jazz had a great time over Christmas.
She had so much fun, and they ate so much food.
She loved seeing everybody.
You gotta stand on it. Jazz was literally in her element. She is such a social girl.
Jazzy, take the paper off, rip it off. Pull, Jazzy, pull.
Like loves it, and she was just, you know, going up to the next person and giving them hugs and cuddles, and
there was lots of food and presents, and that made her very happy.
Jacob, on the other hand, was happy to begin with. However, it soon turned into hyperactive Jacob. Like he was completely like screaming and jumping, and he was just so elated. Like I had to like take him out of the room because he was just so, he looked happy. That's the thing, everyone thought he was happy. He was screaming really high pitched. He was smiling, but you could tell it was just soon like gonna build up, and it was just gonna blow if we didn't do anything about it. So we made sure that we took him to a space away from everyone, quiet space, to calm him down a little bit. He did okay at that day.
Waiting.
Yo, what's up?
Waving.
Bring it on. What? Run up.
But it wasn't until the day after that we saw the repercussions of everything.
Oh, mind you, Jacob last night, he slept through.
Jacob and Jazz got a wobble board, which is, I'll show you footage of it, but they loved it, and we accidentally left it in Sydney, so.
Well, I almost took it back.
Yeah.
Santa.
Oh yeah!
Jess's brother dresses up as Santa Claus every year.
Ho,
Merry Christmas! But every year, my nephew gets very traumatized.
But even Jazz was a little scared.
Jazz was a bit scared, but I think she was extra scared because he was crying and scared as well. She was thinking like, should I be scared? Once I said to give him a high five, she was like, and she gave it to him. And we're like, okay, Santa's not going to be able to give the presents. He's got to go, guys.
Santa was very, very short-lived at our house.
But
okay.
Jazz's little voice was so cute when she said,
I think I got it on. I think I got it on
bye,
video.
Santa. One more bye-bye.
Bye, Santa.
Oh, thank you, Santa.
Bye, Santa.
Bye, Santa. We love you. Bye.
It soon unraveled. The next couple of days, Jacob had the biggest meltdowns that I've seen in a very long time, to the point where all of our family was seeing these meltdowns and they were getting a bit worried. They weren't scared, they were worried because they'd never seen him like that. They'd only seen him like in the event where he's happy and he's elated, but he's not like totally melting down. A couple of members of our family have been awoken to what can happen if he's overstimulated.
Because it's different when you see someone in like small bits and pieces. It's not the same as if you're spending a lot more time.
The reason that we talk about this though is because I have received so many messages, so many comments about Christmas and how their children didn't cope. Their children had sensory overload and meltdowns, and it's just, in general, children with autism and people with autism don't do so well with a change in routine, and Christmas is a huge change in routine.
Yeah.
I'd love for you guys to imagine you couldn't talk to anyone. You didn't have any verbal communication skills. You didn't know how to talk to anyone. You didn't understand what anyone is saying. The only thing that you could rely on is knowing what happened yesterday and knowing that, you know, we had breakfast and then we went to the park and then all of those things. You're only relying on those things to know what's going to go on today. Yeah. And when someone drives you to a new place with all these new faces, it's too much. And I wouldn't cope with that. I wouldn't cope with that at all.
I never really have thought about it, but like, the more you think about it, the more it's like, yeah, that wouldn't be very nice.
No. And I like to put it into perspective because people often underestimate the impact that things can have on non-verbal autistic people.
Like when you're around like people of a different culture and they're speaking a different language to you and they're all having a nice conversation, you have no idea what everyone's saying. I'm sure a lot of you have been in that situation. You're already feeling like, like you kind of feel a bit out of your comfort zone, uncomfortable, and it's like, I don't know what they're saying. Imagine feeling that all the time. And
plus all of your senses are heightened and sounds are a lot louder than they are and foods smell a lot smellier than they are. Moving on to Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was the day that I got sick.
Very
gastro
sick.
Hit. I don't know where it came from, but I got gastro. And I had the kids with me at the time and I was driving my mum's car. I threw up all over the wheel. So that night I decided to
stay away from everybody.
Jacob actually stayed with me, but not with me, if that makes any sense.
Because we didn't really want to
separate him.
My mum came to give a hand whilst Jess was sick. Oh. He did not want to leave.
It would have been too traumatic to separate him. He wasn't with me though. He was with my mum.
Your mum,
like,
yeah.
With me, but not with me.
In the same house.
So I decided to stay with my mum, and Jacob and Jordan took
Me and Jazz had a ball.
Yeah.
Put some pictures and stuff, and
I'm so sad I missed it.
Jazz was playing with her older cousin and they were playing with Play-Doh. And lots of food, lots of presents, lots of good stuff and smiles, and people were singing and they were doing what's that song that
Hokey Pokey.
Hokey Pokey. I think we can put a little bit of video in there.
You put your right foot in and you shake it all around. You do the hokey pokey and you
turn around, Jazzy.
And that's what it's all about. Come on, Jazz. Oh, the hokey pokey. Oh, the hokey pokey. Oh, the hokey pokey. And that's what it's all about.
She loved that. She had like one of the best nights of her life so far. Like, she just had a really, really good time. And just like, because we don't really get to see everyone all the time, Jazz is like the yin to the yang of Jacob. She loves that. She thrives off that. And just seeing everyone, she gets all like extra happy. She's definitely gonna be a bit of a party girl when she's older. Like,
Oh gosh.
Christmas Day. Yeah, I came and picked Jacob up, and Jess, I thought Jess was still needing some form of recovery time, but with mother's like worry, she kept messaging me and calling me and asking, is he okay? Is he okay? And I'm like going, because he didn't really have fun time getting away from Jess, but I felt she really needed some more rest. He did not have a great time without Jess, but it wasn't too long later that Jess is like, look, I'm feeling much better. It was just a bit of a bug, 24-hour bug. I'm okay. I'll come. We didn't know that it was highly contagious, whatever Jess had, because in the end, by the end of all this, I got sick the same night, and so did my sister. And then a day later, my auntie got sick.
I felt so bad.
So-
I thought it was food poisoning. I swore it was. But
We were
then once
all
they got sick, I was
vomiting.
like, oh no.
Christmas Day, we had taken turns whilst Jess was at her mum's house, taking Jacob for a walk. And
He didn't want to stay there.
he didn't want to stay, and everyone was having a good time. His uncle took him for a walk. I took him for a walk. We all just took him for a walk around the block separately just to keep him happy. But apparently my auntie was 3/4 through the walk, and Jacob had just gone complete meltdown,
Running
upset.
towards the road.
My cousin, my auntie's daughter, had to go pick up Jacob and had to put him in the back seat and just like get him back to my grandmother's house. Later on that night, we found out that Jacob's honey bear was missing. We got in the car. I'm like, well, I know that we had him when I took him for a walk. Then my auntie took him for a walk. So we're like, all right, well, let's go for a bit of a drive. We drove around the block, and he was on the other side of the block in the grass. So
Got
Jacob
him.
was trying to tell my auntie, hey,
I dropped Honey Bear.
I dropped Honey Bear, but he couldn't tell her.
No.
And all he could do was scream and trying to get out of his seat. And she felt uncomfortable that he was trying to escape and she couldn't keep him there.
It was a dangerous situation.
It was
If
a dangerous
if
situation,
You didn't know
so she
what-
called help, which is what you
Yeah.
should do. We got Honey Bear, and we had gone for that drive to find Honey Bear, but then we couldn't get back inside because Jacob thought, oh, we've gone in the car to go home.
Yeah.
And he really did not want to go back inside, to the point of super meltdown.
Which is
Jacob really wants to go home. We've had enough. It's been a very tiresome Christmas. Let's get an energy drink and make this drive back home.
We
Because
shared the drive.
we shared the drive, and on the drive back on my turn, like 3/4 through, I'm like, I think I'm getting car sick.
Oh no.
Very,
Wasn't good. And then
very, very bad.
the next day, obviously Jordan was out. It was Boxing Day, and we still hadn't opened the presents from Santa, because so we decided
This will be our Christmas morning as a family to open the presents.
Jordan was on the couch like dead to the world. He was just so sick.
I spent pretty much most of that day as a blur, just going back into the room, and Jess just gave me the time to rest and
Hydrolyte. Kids just spent the day playing with their new toys. I ended up taking down Christmas because I was so over it at that point.
like, get out of here.
Well,
They come
I was
back
just-
for another year.
I was just thinking about it. I was like this is the reason why everything's just gone wrong. So let's just get rid of it out of the house. Get the bad energy out of the house and let's start over fresh.
We tried to have a really positive look on Christmas this year, looking up to it, like as it's coming up and approaching. But I think next year, let's just like avoid Christmas to the last second.
No, I don't think there's any perfect way to do it. I'm sure maybe in 10 years time we'll have figured it out for our family. It's different for everyone, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. The Christmas come down is real. Jacob hasn't been having the greatest time since we've come back, but we're just trying to get back into the rhythm of like a normal routine for him. It's come with a lot of meltdowns. Like he was at the point before Christmas where he wasn't having many meltdowns, and now like he's been having a lot, and it's hard for us to see, but we're trying to rest, we're trying to recover, R&R after Christmas. Therapy starts next week, so I'm hoping that will just
Help.
But yeah, that was our Christmas. I'm sorry that, it was all over the place, up and down.
Yeah.
We're going to be consistent this year. I'm planning on 3 uploads a week, so look out for those videos. We will see you guys in our next one. Make sure you like and subscribe.
See you. Bye.